deep. You're Ken Kell. You're the hockey guy. I go, I don't know anything about this stuff.
This is The Conversation Line, presented by Figer Law.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Conversation Line, brought to you by Figer Law. I'm Daniela Bruce, alongside your TV play-by-play announcer, Ken Daniels, and we have two really special guests today, you guys. We always have special guests, but these two are really, really special. Our assistant equipment managers for the Detroit Red Wings, John Remejes and Brady Munger. You guys, welcome to the podcast. This is awesome. Is this your first podcast?
Actually, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is our first podcast.
I mean, especially with all this, yes. Yeah. This is brand new territory for us.
I thought about starting one a while back, but it just never came.
You guys would, that would be great.
What would the name be?
We didn't even get to that point yet.
Yeah, we were still in beta testing.
Do you have to go through Paul Boyer to make sure it gets done?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like they probably have to get that approved by more than just Paul Boyer. If I'm
Paulie was a good start to our approval process.
Yeah, that might have to go through a few different things. So your job completely just, to me, it's fascinating, very interesting. And I don't think anybody on the outside really knows how much work you guys put in. So let's start with just a home game day. Walk us through what you guys do.
Okay, so we get in probably, what do you think, like 7:30, maybe?
Yeah, I mean,
right
it
around
varies.
there?
If we have extra stuff to do, we'll get in early, but I'd say like 7:30, 8 o'clock is normal.
And
for
this
us.
is for a 7 p.m. puck drop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we try to get everything done the day before, so that way we're not in the morning when things come up, because things always come up, that we don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, the more we can, like, for our job, for everything, the more we can prep, the better. So if we can get stuff done the day before for really anything, it just gets us that much farther ahead the next day.
So we get in, we kind of just hang out, check to see if there's anything new that we need to do. Because guys won't start technically getting here till like 9 o'clock-ish, right around there.
Some early guys come in 8:30,
Yeah.
but most guys 8:45, 9 o'clock.
So if there's something we do need to finish up, we'll finish up that. If not, we probably wait until the coaches bring over lines, like line changes and colors that guys need to go out in. Because every guy has a specific color that they go down, red, white, and we even have black for some D guys. But
And then always, every day we have random things too. Like sometimes you might have a guy tell you the day before at the end of the day, like, hey, can you fix my shin pad straps? Hey, can you put a new visor on? Like,
Happens
it's just
often.
random. Yeah, literally every day. There's always something. Like we're usually sewing something, fixing something every single day. And we try to get it done in the mornings before they go out for the game day skate so that they can try it out, make sure it's good to go for the game.
yeah.
Back in the day, the equipment guy, Lefty Wilson, started this, and I know you guys
know
have
where you're going,
continued
yeah.
this on. So give us the game night jersey routine.
Okay, so if we win the night before, the game before, when the guys come in, the crest is out. If they obviously lose the night before, then it's flipped, so their names are facing when they come in.
And the reason behind that is?
I think it's basically just kind of ownership of what happened the night before. You
Yeah,
know, if you
100%.
lose, you walk in, you want to represent not only yourself, but the team,
yeah.
to the highest. So you come in, you lost it before, you're held responsible
Yep,
for
your name's
what
out.
happened.
You hold that responsibility, and then if you win, the crest is out.
Yep.
Team first.
That's right. Team first, you win as a team.
And we're the only team that I know that obviously picks that up, because other teams will see that, like their trainers come in and they ask questions about that too.
It's always a big question. Everyone's like, why is it always different? And even guys, like new guys that come to the team, they'd be like, this makes no sense. Like, I'm so confused. I try to figure it out. Why are some days my name's out, some day my crest is out? And then
They
you
don't
kind of
like it either. Some guys don't like it.
Some guys do not like it. 'Cause
Jimmy
some
Howard
guys are
drove them nuts.
they're so
Oh.
ritualistic that when
Yeah.
they walk into their stall and it's not the same exact thing every day, it drives them crazy. But it's like once you explain it to them, most guys understand it and they like it, but a lot of guys still hate it.
So is each stall for each player, is there a different setup for every guy? Like you say, they like their stuff the exact same way. Do they all do it the exact same way?
For the most part,
or-
everybody kind of controls what they have in their stall, whether it's tape or, random
and ends,
miscellaneous
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Now, we try to control that a little bit.
When we straighten gear, we
yeah.
make sure that everyone's gear looks exactly the same, like elbow pads, gloves, elbow pads, shin pads up top, helmets in the right spot and everything. It can be tricky sometimes because, especially for guys that have played their whole careers in other teams, every single team does it differently. So some teams might put their shin pads up top and their gloves down below. Some teams might put gloves up top and shin pads down below. So
It's
like
different
when we get new guys from other teams that have been there a long time, it can take them like months to find
or
never,
years.
Or
never
they
take
just
them
don't
years.
do
There
it.
are still guys that they've been here for 5 years and they still can't figure out how to do it. But that's what we get paid for.
I feel like you're nonchalantly throwing somebody under the bus with that one.
You know what?
No comment.
And this group's pretty good this year with it.
Yeah, they are bad.
Who's the most, well, if not, you don't want to say this group, maybe someone who's the most superstitious guy you've ever dealt with?
You know what's weird? I've been asked that before. We really don't. You hear about other teams having very superstitious. Like we really don't have anybody, at least that I've noticed, that has to be in a certain place. Like guys will get dressed at a certain time on the clock.
That's the biggest one. Is like time.
Is it time on the clock?
Time on the clock.
They'll
I
be-
don't necessarily think it's anything that they have to do.
No, I don't think it is either. Like you'll know guys will pay attention to the clock. Like goalies, especially, I've seen this a lot. Like they'll sit in their stall and stare at that clock until it hits a certain time, then they get up, put their helmet on, stuff like that. But like I think overall, we don't have any guys that are too crazy.
Nobody has to do like circles
No.
around the room or like nothing.
Just you two.
nothing like
Ju-
that.
just
Yeah.
us.
And they might. I mean, obviously, every guy probably has their own little superstitions that they follow, but it's not stuff that's like so out there that everyone like knows it and like what's going on, kind of thing.
So you still have to prep like sticks and pucks, right? Like you guys are in charge of all of that, making sure.
Pucks, not so much.
No.
Sticks, it's just a couple people like them in their stalls.
Yeah.
Yeah, then, like,
And-
we,
yeah.
like I know Johnny cuts a bunch of sticks for guys because some guys don't like to cut their sticks, and he's really good at it. I make a few sticks up for certain guys. It's just all personal preference. Like some players like to do everything themselves.
Yeah.
Like some
'Cause
guys,
it's part of their routine.
Yeah, it's part of their routine. And then other guys, they like it when most things are done for them, and it's just one less thing they got to think about.
Yager took his sticks home with him.
Yeah.
He'd take them to the hotel.
Really? I
He'd
didn't
take
know
them
that.
with him. David
lot of
Gagne would be
work.
gone.
Right? It's a lot of work if
A
you
lot
think
of
about
work.
it.
Yep.
Do you even think about that?
It's kind of like superstitions to me too. It just creates something that you have to hit every single time, and if you don't, your whole night's thrown off.
Yeah, it'll mess you up the whole
Yeah.
night.
I see you after a game more because I'm out of there pretty quick. And I see you, honest to God, but the time I'm downstairs, he's got the visiting team stuff on a trolley and it's gone within. How do you guys, the players, do that so fast and you pack it so fast? How is that even done?
I mean, it's just quick. For the most part, it's like even when we're on the road, like you don't want to be there any longer than you have to be.
Right.
Like if we're coming home, it's just like if you can get out of there in half an hour, you're home a half an hour earlier. As compared to being there for an hour, hour and a half, that's just you're getting to bed a half an hour earlier.
Yeah.
And so like they don't, and they got like obviously they have flight schedules too and stuff like that they have to meet. But like just the other night, they had to go to Columbus after the game. So it's just like they want to get to Columbus as fast as they can to get to sleep, and it's the same for us when we're on the road. So we just tell the guys like, as fast as you can, get out of your gear, get it loaded, get the laundry, get everything on the truck, and go to the airport and get in the air.
So you guys were happy when Cronwall retired,
Oh my gosh!
right? Tell
He had his
seriously.
he had his routines
Yeah.
that they towards the latter parts of it.
We were a little
They-
slow
So
getting
wait,
out.
post game he would be doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he would stretch.
Yep.
And they do a little. Well, with him especially because he was a worker.
Him and
he
Z.
worked out.
Z
all the
was
time.
Z was bad too.
Yeah.
The Swedes, yes.
So they would stretch, they would do all their things, and a lot of those guys would do treatments after. So they'd have to do that, and then they would have their own little routines. And then before you know it, it's like, 30, 45 minutes
Yeah.
after the game.
And other guys bust him. Wouldn't you guys would you ever, or no?
I'm
Not
not saying
those
any of
guys.
those guys.
Smart.
I've got way too much respect for those guys. But now, like, we've gone from probably being honestly one of the slowest teams in the NHL after games to now with like a lot of our younger guys, we're probably honestly one of the fastest.
We're pretty quick to get
We're
out.
very
now.
quick.
Do you guys ever have like time yourself for fun? Like how long it takes you to
And we
get?
have fun every day, all day.
I know you have fun every day, all day, but do you set a timer? Okay, how long is it going to take us to get
You
this
know what?
entire room
We
packed
do-
up in
we do
hours?
that at night.
Yeah.
We do that at night, and we have our hang time down, just the two of us hanging down to like what, 20 minutes?
Yeah,
21
minutes.
minutes.
Wow.
I think.
21
A
minutes
full
is
20
done.
minutes to
hang.
do
to
get-
unload every
Once
bag.
we have the bags in the
hang
room,
every bag,
hang
and then
and
go.
be done.
Yeah.
So the time we walk into the room with all the bags to the time we shut the door and turn the lights off in the locker room, it's
I
21
think we should
minutes.
say this too, because you guys have to go when we travel or when
Yeah.
the team travels.
Yeah.
You don't get there and go to the hotel like
Oh,
everybody else
Wishful
does.
thinking.
Yeah, you get there
would,
and it's
yeah.
right to the rink, and
Yep.
that's what you're talking about when you unpack everything for the guys for the following
Yeah, we like
morning.
the timing wise. We
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about it. So like even when we come home from the road, like me, JR, and Paul,
Yeah.
we will sit at the airport, wait for our plane to be unloaded onto our truck, which is already there, and then we drive back to LCA and we have to hang everything up, do all the laundry, unpack the sticks, all that stuff.
And on the road, we have help from our, our medical staff and the,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
strength coaches and all that.
We're very
They'll
grateful.
come
for
and
that.
help us. Yeah, thank you guys. So they help us there, but we have some more to do on the road usually because we don't, have to do as much here as we would there because everything's set
Okay,
up.
so we come from the road, you come home, you come to LCA, you unload. What time are you getting home after, let's say, and I know we usually think about if it's a 7-10 puck drop, I know we're looking and we go 4 hours. You try to be in the air within 4 hours or less than that.
Yeah.
So 11:10, you're in the air. By the time, let's say it's Columbus, you're back here 12. What time do you get to bed?
Okay, so
I
on a
mean-
night like that, we'd probably land, we'll just say,
That's like, we'll do a recent trip, for example. It'd be
Yeah.
a good example. So we were in the island. Okay.
Mhm.
So that was a long drive from the airport. That's close to an hour from the rink to the airport. So I think we didn't end up taking off till 11:45, I think it was that
no,
night.
we got there 11:45.
Got there. So we probably didn't take off till like midnight or so. So it was a little later just because of the long drive. I think we landed around 1:30, 1:45.
Oh.
And by the time we got the airplane unpacked, got back here, got everything undone, and we drove home, I think I got home around like 4:15.
It was like 4:15ish, I think.
Yeah.
And then when we both have two small kids,
Yeah.
they're up early. So
I literally
That's
climbed
not a
into
lot.
bed,
Yeah.
was comfy for about 5 minutes, and then I hear, Dada.
I
did not go to sleep that
just
night.
a couple
Yeah,
more
it was a
minutes,
tough one.
please.
And you're hoping it's a day off the next day.
yes, you're hoping, but not,
hoping.
since it wasn't. But yeah, a good amount of the times if we get back that late, there's going to be a day off.
Yeah.
Have you had it in the years you've been here, and maybe not recently, where if the team played poorly and it was, well, now there's scheduled days off with the Player Association, et cetera, but were you thinking you weren't going to practice the next day and you didn't play well and boom, it changed?
I'd say definitely back in the day before they had the CBA had the mandated days off, one a week, that would happen more often. But I think you would find that more times.
It's flip-flop now.
Yeah,
Now it's
it's-
more like, okay, we have a scheduled practice day. We have 2 practice days in a row before our next game. Let's go out there, have a great effort, win the game, and who knows, maybe we'll get a day off.
That's what you're basically hoping for now.
Yes.
So that's what you're doing by the bench. You're going, come on, guys.
Yes.
Come on, come on.
Come on.
There's a minute left. Come on.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about that aspect too, because we didn't really ask you guys what you do during a game. And you have to be on high alert, right? Just to be ready
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
you know, if a stick breaks, if a skate comes off, whatever it might be. So where are you guys at, and how do you operate? So let's say Dylan Larkin comes over and he's missing a skate. How does that work?
So that happens. Okay, so I'm on
Yeah.
one side, he's on another side. So that's when you kind of just have to, you don't know what's coming at you. After a fight, it could be a helmet, it could
Yeah.
be anything that happens. So what it is that if the D are on one side of the bench, obviously they switch periods. I'll have the D, blades on one side, or the forwards, depending upon which period it is or where you're at. So that's kind of what I'll do. You can do helmets, you can wipe helmets, you can do switch gloves, you can do a variety of things that you're not even really ready for at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And then my main job on the end is for sticks. So I'm
Yeah.
like the stick guy. So I watch
Stick
if
guy.
anyone's breaking sticks.
He
I'm
is, too.
constantly watching.
Can you hear it?
You can hear it sometimes, or like
You know.
honestly, like
Sometimes, yeah.
a lot of times, like a lot of, especially like in the defensive zone, like if a guy blocks a shot, like I'd say 9 times out of 10, I have a stick in my hand before they even realize it's broken, because I see it. I'm like, there's no way that's not broken. And then
There is a
soon as
sound,
they go
though,
to the
that
puck,
you hear the
but there
sound.
is a sound.
Yeah.
Do you just toss the broken sticks? Do you guys?
So we actually sell ours to a company, and that we get the money back into the budget, and they make like all sorts of like barbecue tools, like
Oh.
putters.
I have
like
some
all
of those.
sorts
They're
Really?
Yeah,
I
actually
did not
really-
know
yeah,
this.
They're really cool. Yeah, they're really
actually
cool.
Where do they sell these?
I think you get them online.
Oh,
and then you can
I'm
find
gonna
them in,
have to
like
go
pro
look.
shops and
I'll
stuff
give
like
you
that.
mine.
Okay.
No one at home. Some guys who have their hands like over the stick rack the entire, just wait, you don't.
That
To
makes,
me-
that makes my head hurt watching that.
You've seen it though, right?
Yeah, and honestly, in my eyes, like
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work, and if you're paying attention enough to the game and you know the flow of the game, like it's very rare that like a guy's gonna break a stick right in front of you. So you're always gonna have a few seconds. Like I will if there's a face off very close to the bench, like say it's on one of the dots or at the center ice, I'll have my hand on the center stick because he's normally the one that'll break it on the face off. So I'm ready for that. But like most of the time, you're gonna have a few seconds to be able to grab a stick and get it out over the boards.
And that's
for him.
physically all those guys are doing. I've watched them, and it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. It would make my head hurt.
Every time it's
Just
somebody else
watching
jumps on, they're just grabbing.
Yeah,
and you're like,
literally just watching it.
that's all you can do.
Does the backup goalie ever help you?
The backup goalie can help me, but he can also hurt me because if we're like too deep in a conversation sometimes.
Alex Lyon, I
Alex-
feel like.
me and Alex Lyon have some awesome conversations on the bench when he's not playing. Same with Cam. But yeah, if you get caught a little too deep in a conversation, sometimes it can actually hurt you because you just hear someone start yelling, broken stick," and you look around like, oh boy. Yeah.
And what's with the beautiful legs? Why, you're in hockey rinks and all the equipment guys wear shorts. Where did that start?
Because we're grinding.
Yeah, we grind.
Oh,
If I were to wear pants every day, I
If you
would
sweat
sweat.
uncontrollably.
I'd be
okay.
sweating.
You would.
And most of the rooms are nice. It's not like you're at a local arena where it's freezing. Yeah, actually, it can be pretty cold in some places. Like Caroline is freezing. in
Our
that
practice
hallway.
rink is
It's
freezing.
cold
Our
out there.
practice rink is cold.
I double up coats there,
You
but
put coats out there.
in most of the rooms, it's The temperature's
It's
pretty
warm.
good. And now that David Perron's gone, the room's comfortable again.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the temperature controller?
He wanted it so cold always.
If it was up to DP, he would have had the thermostat in his locker.
Best visiting room to work out of.
All the new ones are pretty nice now. Before, I used to love to go to Phoenix. I know
Phoenix
they're not a
was
team
really
anymore.
nice.
The
But
old Phoenix,
the old
Scott's,
Phoenix.
the
Yeah.
old,
Scottsdale.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not, it wasn't even Scott.
It was
Glendale.
I'd say now, I mean, you have Pittsburgh. I've always liked Pittsburgh's
Pittsburgh's
layout.
nice. It's
Yeah.
just it's basic. It's got everything you need. It's got enough space.
And all the new ones are nice.
All the
too,
new
like
ones are
Vegas.
nice. It's like
Edmonton.
obviously that goes
Yeah.
without saying. All the new arenas,
Yeah.
they're going to be the best. But I've always liked Columbus too.
I just like going
Like
there.
they have
too,
a great setup.
Yeah.
Plenty of space for everything. I mean, there's some bad ones out there.
Okay, give it to us.
Oh.
Well, okay. Up until this
Can.
year,
Yeah,
Carolina to me was the worst. But they
Yes.
just redid the whole thing. We
yeah.
haven't
really?
seen
We
it
haven't
yet.
seen it
Yes.
yet, but it was literally like
Yeah.
their locker room and their change room were half the size of just our locker room.
Yeah, it was.
and it was
awful.
just.
And,
Did
and
he
I
hear-
know they're called the Hurricanes, by the way. It's a hurricane. It's a wind tunnel.
Yeah,
It's
oh
that
my God,
place
yeah.
is freezing.
the
Yeah.
poor guys that are working have to wear winter coats in that
Yeah.
tunnel.
Yes.
Parkas.
You guys wear
Security
shorts
guards.
there? You grind through that?
You know what? Sometimes I will wear a pair
They
of
can't
pants.
go back now, Ken. They have to wear
I
shorts
guess.
all the time.
And I'll be picking up teams in the truck in the middle of winter, and I'll still be wearing shorts.
You are a grinder.
It's like a high school football coach.
Yeah.
You know, I got to ask you the story because I wrote about it, shameless plug, If These Walls Could Talk, Detroit Red Wings, in my book. You, Joe Louis Arena, he was late for the bus. You climbed through the transom in the visiting room because Tuukka Rask locked himself in. Tell us the story.
Well,
What?
well, he didn't really lock himself in. So it was, if I remember correctly, and my memory's starting to fail me. I'm getting old.
Mine too.
I'm 32 now.
Oh gosh,
Um,
ancient.
Yeah, ancient. So I think they were winning. They were beating us by like 3 goals or something like that. And we came back and ended up beating him in overtime. And Tuukka he was known to be a little hot-headed sometimes. And he had his full goalie meltdown, broken stick in 6 places. And he came into the visiting room, and at Joe Louis, there was these 2 little tiny rooms right when you walked into the left. And he went in that first door and just slammed it right behind him. Like you could hear that door slam anywhere in the building. And so, yeah, they slammed it. And so we're just kind of getting everything ready. I'm helping the Boston guys get packed up. And their equipment guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, can you come unlock this door? Like, Tuukka's in there." And I'm just like, I don't have a key for that
There's no
door.
key for
Like,
that
There is
door.
no key for this door. So I go over there. I'm trying to open it. And I'm like, okay, well, this door is not opening. And security did not have a key for it because there was no key for this door. So they're like, all right, I'm going to climb up and see what happens. So we push the jersey trunk up to the wall. And we had the drop ceilings at this time. So I pop the ceiling tile out. I climb over the wall. I pop the other one down. And there's Tuukka Rask sitting there in full gear still. At this point, it's probably 40 minutes after the game. He's still sitting there in full gear. He just looks up at me and smiles and says, "Hey, what's going on?" And I was like, "You stuck?" And he's like, "Yeah." So
That's a
literally,
tough one.
yeah. So literally, I had to climb over the wall, through the ceiling, into the room with him. I literally fell out of the ceiling. He caught me. And then we had to pop the pins out of the door, and they had to kick it from the other side because he had slammed the door so hard he bent the door frame. That's why it wasn't opening.
Yeah, so it wasn't locked.
No,
it
so
was broken.
So we popped the pins out and kicked the door. And then he got out. But they had to do all their media and stuff in the hallway because they didn't want anyone to know about it. And then when we saw them next, I actually just got a random key and put it on a Red Wings puck and gave it to them. So
Perfect.
Next time you
Yeah.
lock yourself in, here you go.
Wait,
Well
do you
done.
have a story like this? That's a good one. Do you have like a
I mean,
crazy
obviously, I
equipment
would
story?
need more than just a trunk. I need a whole ladder to get up that high.
I'm with you.
I don't really
Is that
know.
why
I
you
mean,
sent Brady?
Nothing that crazy. Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, that
I've
was
never
just
had to
one
climb
of
to
those
the
things.
roof or the ceiling or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to switch gears a little bit. This is a very interesting career path. When did you decide that this is what you wanted to do? How did you get to this
I think
point?
it just kind of fell. It happened for me where I just happened to work for my uncle built houses for a living, and he actually built a house for the athletic trainer at the time, John Wharton. And I was in high school, and I would just kind of sweep up and pick up bricks and things like that. And that was the lockout year, I believe, 94, 95. I'm dating myself. I think it was 94, 95. And he came in and said, "Hey, we need a guy, or just a locker room attendant guy." So I said, "Well, I would love to, I'm a hockey fan my whole life." And so that's how I started back then. I couldn't even drive a car yet. So I had to get my buddy that could drive. He would drive me down here on game nights, and then he'd have to pick me up.
Oh, wow, good friend.
So that's kind of how I started. But then I kind of always hung around, went away to school. I would come back for holidays and things like that. And then Frosty, he was here with the Cup in '08, I believe. And he had gotten the job after that year in Florida. And I had driven the truck and picked up visiting teams the previous 3 years. And when he left, they offered me the job.
Wow.
And I said, yeah.
How'd they find you?
For me, so like I actually went to college for sport management. So I went to Bowling Green State University in Ohio. I worked the hockey team there for 3 years. At a young age, I knew I was never going to be good enough to play pro sports, so it was kind of always my dream.
That's why they
As
do this.
all of us
That's
sitting
what
right
all of
here
us
right now.
believe in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you can't play it, announce it.
Yeah.
I was honest with myself, and I knew right away that it wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't in the genes. But yeah, so I worked for the hockey team there for 3 years, and then actually one of my college professors knew the clubhouse manager with the Tigers. Okay. So I actually got an internship with them out of college at spring training, and they liked me enough, and I stuck around there. I worked there for 2 full years, full-time pretty much. I spent 1 year at their AA team in Erie, Pennsylvania, being the clubhouse manager there. And then it just happened to be that they were looking for a guy after the last guy left. And my boss knew Paul, who's my boss now, and he knew I was a hockey guy. And so he's just like, hey, they're looking for someone. And I was like, absolutely.
I still remember that day, too, the interview when you came in.
Yeah, I actually walked into the interview. We were in the Manhattan room at Joe Louis Arena, and I dressed up. I was like, okay, I get an interview. I got to be ready to go. I dressed up. I walk in there, and this guy comes in a pair of gym shorts, cut-off T-shirt.
Same outfit.
I think I had flip-flops
No,
on.
it was gym shorts, cut-off T-shirt, and flip-flops, eating a salad. And I was like, this is where I want to work.
Yeah. I'm sold.
Yeah. But
That's awesome.
I think it helped that it was like the same companies. Obviously, the Illiches own the hockey and the Tigers, so there was a lot of communication between them. And my boss there knew I was a hockey guy, and I honestly don't like baseball at all. But I always
Two
loved
different
hockey.
worlds, huh?
That's what I was just going to
completely,
say.
yeah.
Different rooms
Completely,
to
yeah.
work in,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Hockey's way better.
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
I'm a Tigers fan, but like working in hockey. Love that. Okay. Are you ready for
I'm ready.
our segment that we're going to try out?
I am.
You guys are our guinea
Is this
pigs
the
for a
first time?
segment.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know how
man.
many times we're guinea pigs in our lives?
Maiden voyage. Here
All
we
the
go.
time.
Yeah.
Someone's got to climb through the ceiling.
All the time,
You two. New segment.
New
You
segment.
two.
And
Okay.
it's called
One timer.
One-Timers.
So we're going to do kind of rapid fire questions. If you
One timer.
feel like you need to explain yourself, you can. But some of these you
After
won't
he
need
answers,
to.
like, so answer, and
Yes.
then I want to explain, then I'll do it?
Yeah. No, you
Because I
can.
don't give him any
No,
time
no.
to
Yeah,
think about
exactly.
it.
Don't give them too much time to think.
Just alternate then.
Okay.
Okay, you start, Ken.
Most famous person in your phone.
This is supposed to be one time, like quick things, right?
Well, you could think about it for a second.
I mean, it has to be one of the guys. I would probably say Lidstrom or, I mean, he's like that.
That's
or,
pretty famous.
Or Zetterberg or any of those
Okay.
guys.
Yeah, those guys. Like, I mean, I could go with the easy one and just say Steve Yzerman.
Well, there you go.
But I'll go. You know what? I'll go back from baseball. I'll go Justin Verlander.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good one.
And a follow-up
Do
to the
text
question.
him.
Would you ever, out of the blue, call or text Justin Verlander?
Negative.
Right.
Any of those guys, absolutely. Is he
But I
here
would
right
text.
now?
Yeah, we text Z all the time.
Right.
Z's on our Snapchats, and we
He's
snap
wonderful.
him literally every day.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Mine, I told Ken this before we started filming that I think he might be the most famous person in my phone.
Then you're hurting. We really got to
No,
update your
we don't have any
contacts.
famous
we-
people.
We need to get you
I have
John's
you on my
number.
phone too,
Yeah.
you.
And yes, I would call Ken
Sorry, Ken
anytime,
Daniels.
any
Yes,
day.
I would call him.
You see, I've got Gary Bettman in mind, but I'd never call or text him out of the blue.
I hope he
Yeah, I
hears
don't
this
have
and he's
him.
like, "What the heck?
Yeah.
You can call me and text whenever you want, right?"
Yeah.
Okay. First autograph ever obtained.
Paul
Who is-
Isabart.
Who?
Paul Isabart.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
It was an open practice. I remember I came down with my dad, and it was a canned food drive. So we brought food, canned food, and I remember that was my first autograph ever.
The first one I can remember, and it's funny, I remember this, is actually Dan Bilesma.
Oh.
This is a
Was he
great-
playing?
By the way, this is a great story.
So I
Oh,
actually,
yeah?
so growing up, my parents were season ticket holders at Bowling Green my whole life.
Yeah.
So my first hockey game there, I was 4 months old. And Dan, that's where Disco Dan played hockey.
Sure.
Disco.
So there's actually there's a newspaper article. This was well before I knew Dan. There's a newspaper article, front page of the sports section in Bowling Green, where it's a picture of Dan at his book signing in Bowling Green, and there's a little boy holding 2 pom-poms on his lap, and it's me.
Oh.
I've actually seen the picture and I've seen the article, and it is unbelievable.
So that's
The fact that he was a
the
coach
first
here.
thing I can remember is
Yeah.
that book signing with Dan Bilesma.
So
Did he write the book with his dad, if I remember, or something like that?
I can't remember.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Yeah. So it's
the
literally a
follow up to
newspaper.
that is, do you still have it?
Yeah.
I do. Yes.
Yes.
I think I actually do. It's probably in my basement with 3 million other things, but yes, I remember it was on a like a little piece of paper. It wasn't even anything
Like
I
nothing
had
cool,
prepared.
yeah.
I think my dad literally ripped something out of like his memo pad.
Actually, I remember one before that. I was at a Sears in Downriver in Kirk Maltby. And
Oh.
Kirk Maltby, and I think it was Drapes. We're doing like an autograph signing at a Sears. And I remember my mom took me out of school. I don't
Oh.
know
Go get Maltz's autograph?
Yeah, go get
Oh,
Maltz's
you would love
autograph.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
tell him that
I don't know
story.
if I still have it or not. But yeah, the Sears Downriver somewhere.
Okay, I know you're both married. Have you ever been on a blind date?
No.
Yes.
And was there a second date?
No.
Okay, then what is the story why there wasn't?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. It
Really?
was my sister's friend. But, Or
Okay.
somebody that she worked with, yes.
Okay.
Or somebody, yeah. And I'm trying to think. I don't think that, well, obviously it didn't go that well. I can't
Yeah, you
even
can't
Right,
even
there you go.
remember it.
I was
I don't
hoping
think
for
there
a good
was.
story, and you've never been on one. Okay, you're up.
All right. I liked this one for you too, because I know this is your favorite pastime on the plane. Are you good at cards?
The best.
What game?
Well,
Euchre?
You've never beat
No,
me in
yeah.
euchre ever.
This is absolute lie.
No. You've never beat me.
I
Maybe
just
like
did.
maybe like one hand.
One hand, I beat you in series.
Did you though?
It's partner too.
Money? Big money?
No,
No,
not
just bragging
player
rights.
money.
bragging rights are way bigger
I
than bragging
played.
rights.
I
According to
played
us.
with them once, and I said absolutely not for
Yeah.
money. Are you guys kidding me?
Because you were a great player.
Yeah, we were
You were my
good.
partner.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were
you
good.
were good.
Define
Yeah.
great.
I think we won.
No, you didn't.
We won on the way there. We lost on the way home. That was a West Coast trip, so it was a long plane ride.
You're not kidding on that one.
Last one for me. First concert ever in person, and at what age?
Okay, so there's a discrepancy. I can't remember. It was either the Who or Rush for me. It was at the Palace. I can't remember which one was first. I was 16.
Okay.
I don't remember the age, but it was the Beach Boys. At
Wow.
our local county fair, the Beach Boys swooped in.
Endless summer.
That's the most small town thing I've ever
I
heard.
expected that at all.
100%.
Wow.
Ken, what was yours?
Mine was Hall & Oates.
That's unbelievable.
That's a good show.
19. I've seen them 30 times. I played tennis with John Oates.
Come on.
Yeah, driving
Is
to
he in
Lake.
your phone?
John Oates is not on my phone, but I do have two pictures
could be him.
with him on the phone. One with the bad mustache in 1985. I was driving to a fantasy camp in Lake Placid, and they were, again, I loved Hall & Oates. And at the Holiday Inn, I look on the sign, and it says, tonight in concert, Daryl Hall and John Oates, or tomorrow night in concert, Daryl Hall and John Oates. Holy crap. The next morning I come out, John Oates on the tennis court. His guy wasn't there yet. And he said, you want to hit with me? And my buddy comes down. I said, sure.
It's
I got a
unbelievable.
picture with John Oates. And then we're in Vegas maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm looking and I see this little fella in, I don't remember what hotel, it doesn't matter. And he was working out. And I said, that looks like John Oates. And I went outside. We were talking for about 15 minutes, took another picture with him. What are the odds that your
Big
favorite
twice.
band and first concert and you meet John Oates twice?
I said, did you remember the game of
That's
the
unreal.
match of tennis by chance or no?
I showed him the picture and he went, oh my God. And by then, neither of us had mustaches. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's how long ago it
You
was.
look good in a mustache, though.
I do too. You
You
should
should,
Yeah.
bring him
you should
back.
bring it back.
I brought it back to start the year. I had the goatee and then I shaved it. It may come back again. Well, if you two like it, then I'm in.
See, there you go. That's
See
all
what
you
influence
needed.
I have?
You know what? And if you don't like it, we'll shave it for you.
Hey, I bet you would.
We've been known to give haircuts in the
Have-
lobby.
We do.
I
We
just-
give haircuts.
Hey,
Yeah, we do.
there you go.
You guys
What's
have
the
just-
weirdest thing that's ever happened in the room there where you've had to...
That they can
that you
share.
can tell,
that you can share.
That you
I
can
mean, no,
share.
there's been
Lots of stories we
haircuts.
can't
Because
tell.
we no longer
haircuts
do
and stuff
hazing.
like
We don't
that.
want any
You
of that
guys
anymore.
really have given haircuts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, did
Good
they know
haircuts?
I've
you're...
actually cut his hair
Yeah, he's
before.
cut my hair.
No.
You
I mean,
let
it's
him do
nothing-
that?
Nothing crazy.
Me? I
It's
trust
just
him with my
shears.
life.
It's like you're shearing a sheep. You can't really mess it up.
I trust him with my life. I would love, certainly let him give me a haircut.
Just pull like a number 4 or 5 clip and let it rip.
Have you ever cut Boyer's hair?
No. No.
Okay.
He's
Strangest,
doing
can I ask you the strangest thing about Paul Boyer? Give us something.
I don't even know. He's
Look
They've
at
got
that.
long
They won't do
lists
it.
that they're going
They
through
won't
right
do
now.
it.
That's what it is.
okay. You know what? He's very eco-friendly. He always
Oh,
has
yeah?
to make sure the lights
Oh,
are
yeah.
off. everywhere, every
Lights.
building.
He's a big-
Good for him.
he's a big lights
He
guy.
will go through everywhere and make sure every light is off.
I do that at home.
Even if you're still in there sometimes, he'll turn the light off on you.
Well, that's good to know.
All right, we have one more
Okay,
question
one
for
more
you.
for
Yeah.
I picked the weirdest one on the list because I knew
can't
you
wait.
guys
It's a
would
good one,
appreciate
though.
it.
Okay, I can't wait.
Your favorite smell?
Smell?
Yep.
Smell.
Favorite smell, which could evoke a memory. It could makes you hungry.
I mean,
We were actually just talking about this last night.
Okay.
We were standing by the belt loader as we were loading the truck. I was like, oh man, I love the smell of that diesel fuel just burning.
yeah.
That actually doesn't
Every
surprise
belt
me
loader
about you.
just- it's crazy.
Diesel
It's
fuel.
definitely not my favorite smell, but I don't mind it.
It's funny. I like the smell of like my dog.
Oh,
As
that's
bad
cute.
as that sounds,
Not a
or
wet
as
dog.
weird as that sounds, dogs always have that smell.
Yes.
You know,
You know,
I
my
like the way
wife
my dog
says
smells, too.
our
I get it.
dog's paws
Yeah,
smell
they do.
like Fritos.
they do.
Oh, God,
And I
here
go-
we go again.
They do. I've talked about this before. They do.
They do?
Yeah.
She's noticed that. You know why? Because they go to they lift their leg up and then they step in it. So all of a sudden you're
So
smelling like
it's
Fritos.
That's what he's told me that so many times.
They
That
do.
smells
Really?
like Fritos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
They
not so
do.
crazy.
I don't know. Mine might be like I love the smell of coffee in the morning. That's a good one.
That's my
or I
favorite.
also like I don't know if you know what this is, but I love the smell of fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Oh, yeah.
anyone
I say
understands
this
that.
all the time. When you take the dog for a walk in the fall, the air
Fall
smells
is my
just
favorite season
different.
of the year, fall or winter. So when that smells that
Might
that
be some
crisp
bonfire
it's
smell
just-
mixed
The bonfire smell, I
mixed
smelled
in
that
too.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Or like the
Bonfires
wet
too.
dew on a grass,
Yeah.
you can smell all that. Like
Well,
it's earthy.
you want bonfire, just go to Redmond's. There's always a
There you go.
bonfire.
You know,
Fire
and I
smell.
actually have to give you guys a compliment because I know how bad hockey gear can smell.
Oh.
You guys keep it pretty tame.
It's amazing if you just dry it. See, a lot of times people just keep it in a bag, and if you just let it air out even for a few hours, it's not horrible.
And that's the thing, like the difference between our gear and like other gear is like the most time our gear will spend in a bag not being hung in a locker is like 4 hours. And that's
It's
when
a
we
cross-country
and
flight.
that's when we
It's like
fly
on
across
the
the
plane,
country.
yeah.
It's like all these other kids, youth hockey and stuff, like they just keep it in their bag for days on end, but like literally ours is at most 4 hours and it's
Yeah.
boom. hung
Okay,
up.
so we got two guys who would know. And when my son used to play, and we drive this one kid, and his gear even closed up in the trunk, stunk. The worst smell ever. What would be your tip for kids who play youth hockey to avoid that
Just
smell in the
take
bag?
it like when the
it out of
parents
the
get
bag.
home, just take it out of your bag and dry. Spread it on the floor anywhere. It could be the garage.
basement, the garage,
You can't
somewhere,
wash hockey
yeah.
gear, too.
Anywhere.
You can wash. You
You
can
can't
wash
wash
everything.
They
We
wash
wash
it, and they
everything.
also, I
Yep.
mean, they make all sorts of different sprays and stuff that just
Do they
spray
work?
down.
Do they work?
They do work, yeah.
They
Like
do, yeah.
So we have in our ceiling in the locker room here, we have an ozone machine. So it's constantly spitting out ozone into the room to help sanitize because it kills bacteria and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but it also helps with the smell. And then we also have these little pods that we travel with in each guy's bag. What are they called? Gear halos. So it's like
what is
this, it's called a gear halo.
A
It's
gear
like this
halo.
little
There's a
pouch.
plug for you right there.
Yeah, gear halo, great stuff. Send them some more.
Sponsor.
Exactly. But no,
Get
it's
your
like,
gear halo.
it's this little pouch, like, I don't know, yay big, the size of like a Tic Tac container maybe. And we just, each guy has one in their bag and it's just constantly, it kills bacteria and it has like this fresh smell. And so like when you walk into the room, you can smell it right away. It's
Amazing.
just
You can probably
freshness.
notice it when you walk in our room.
Yeah.
It smells. A lot of that's from that gear halo.
Yeah.
that we just
Because you
put on
don't
there.
smell the hockey gear.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's when you do, it's potent.
We're
You
just
can
masking
tell.
it.
Yeah.
So
Basically.
there are lots of easy ways to get rid of that smell. It's not very hard.
Wash
I
it
love
and just
that.
let it dry because the little kids' rooms, when you walk into a rink,
Disgusting.
Horrible. It's horrible.
awful.
Yeah.
See, we went with favorite smell. That could be some
Look
of the
at
worst
that.
smells.
Oh, that's 100%
We
off.
got
you
to
can-
very useful information
That's
out of
Well,
that.
definitely
especially
out
like in
there.
the Belfour hallway when there's like tournaments going on, the whole
All the
hallway
youth
just
tournaments.
reeks, and it's just disgusting.
Do you guys ever want to get in there and be like, okay, listen up, guys.
No.
Like, this is what we.
I babysit enough everyone else here at this job. I don't need to do it anymore.
It'd take forever because they'd be like, what are you talking about? Then you have to go over it and there's like 6 teams down there.
All right, you guys. That was excellent.
I love it. This
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah, thanks. That was
See,
great.
Absolutely.
you're podcast
It
superstars.
was
This,
great.
if this ever makes you feel like you need to start your own podcast, you have like proof now that you'd be
Well,
good
we
at
just
it.
know we're a ways off away from that. We don't have any of this set up here.
Yeah, we got done with this.
You can do it on a phone.
We
Dude,
that's
honestly.
all we had was a phone. We're like,
That is
we
what we
can
had,
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
We
you
could
can
buy
do
some
it.
headsets off Amazon, figure it
We
out.
actually looked into it too. We don't know what we talk about. Outdoor smells.
Yeah, hunting,
Who
snows.
knows?
Yeah, anything. Well, thank you both. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no
Thanks for
problem.
having us.
Thanks for having us.
It was great.